Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Vechain update. Let's quickly take a look at what's happening with the price chart right here. So we want to take another look at the Vechain price chart because the Vechain price chart is exhibiting something that is amazing here at the very bottom of the price chart. And historically, the structure that I'm going to show you has proven to be an amazing opportunity to buy every single time, right? So without me running my mouth too much, let me quickly show you what kind of a structure I'm talking about. It's something that is really, really simple. You won't see it anywhere because no one literally talks about it. What we are looking for here is price continuing to the downside like that. You all of a sudden find somewhat of a support level, right? You go sideways a bit before you eventually break that support one more time. You have somewhat of a round shaped recovery, right? Back to the support level that we had, which is now resistance, right? And then from there, you usually get rejected one more time in a rounded shape like recovery, just like this right here before you eventually get another a massive rejection, right? Then this is your lowest point on the price chart, and then eventually you start continuing to the upside for a massive bull run, right? So going back to our Vechain price chart, let me quickly go ahead and do the structure here so that you can have an idea of what we are talking about here. So what you see is price has been going to the downside here. You find some support, right? Before you even break that support level, right? Here you come back to, back test that support now as resistance. You have another round shaped like recovery, just like that, right? Before you eventually get your massive capitulation, right? Here setting a new low. And then what we are looking for here is continuation to the upside. So I want you to take a look at what the structure that I drew right here is comparing to the structure that we have here, right? So you can see that we are looking very, very similar, right? But that's not enough, obviously. We want to take a look at real market examples, right? So I'm going to start here by showing you the Cardano price chart, which was back then in 2018. So what you notice right here is obviously the price is continuing to the downside right here, right? Look at this. We continue to the downside. We have, the initial support right here. You have a capitulation back to test that support as resistance this time around, and you get rejected, obviously. You have that rounded shaped kind of a recovery that I was talking about right here before you eventually get rejected one more time right here, right? And then this sets your low, and then after this low, there is no other low, right? You continue for a massive bull run to the upside. So taking a look at this structure as well, look at how it was comparing to the structures that we had for the Vechain price chart right here. Let me see if I can move it this way. Yeah, trickling. All right, so this is the structure that we have basically, right? To take a look at it on the Vechain price chart, is basically the same structure, right? Obviously, there may be some nitty-gritties right here, but I want you to pay attention to this detail that happens towards the end of the structure right here. So after the last rejection right here, you notice what happens with the Vechain price chart here. You can see you can have like 5 stick 12 to the downside right here, setting a new low right here. I also want you to pay attention to the Cardano price chart here. Look at what happens. I don't think we need this structure anymore, but I want you to pay attention to the last rejection right here. Look at how you start finding this, a very strict wave to the downside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is your 1, 2, 3, 4. Eventually, the fifth wave comes in right here, and this is your lowest point on the price chart. Now, taking a look at another example, this would be Tron, right? Back then in 2018 as well. What you notice is you still have got the price coming to the downside right here. You have your initial support right here before you eventually break that as well. And then you go ahead to test it as resistance, right? You get that rounded kind of recovery that we have right here before eventually you head into the capitulation, setting a new low, and eventually letting the price go. You start a new bull cycle, right? So this has been the structure for, most of these altcoins really, but you can see here that we have the same structure that I showed you at the very beginning. But take a look at this signature ending that you have at the capitulation, right? You can see that you can actually come up with those 5 waves that we were talking about there, right? So you would go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to set your low. And then after this low, there is no other low that comes. You are continuing to the upside. Another example would be Ethereum itself. You have the same structure basically. You have, your downward price section right here, support, you get rejected, continue, right? Rounded kind of recovery before you get, that capitulation that we were talking about. And then after that, it's the bull run, right? As we were mentioning, we were also taking a look at the ending. Sorry for this mess. We were also taking a look at the ending here that you can see 5 waves to the downside, and you can exactly see them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down right here, right? Another example would be maybe, let's go with IOTA. Basically the same structure here. You are crashing to the downside. You have your initial support level right here. you get a break below that one, you test it as resistance, you get another rounded kind of recovery before eventually you head into your capitulation to set yourself for a new bull one. So let me go ahead and show you the structure one more time and see how it compares to the one that we had on the Vechain price set. Basically the same thing, right? So this, in my own opinion, at least, gives hope that the Vechain price set is going to do one of what these altcoins did, right? Because it's something that we are seeing happening time and again. But we also have another structure that didn't happen in the same time frame. That will be QNT, right? So this is now 2019. You can see the same structure basically on the quant price set. And what we are looking for here, obviously, is the price going to the downside right here, finding your initial support before you get rejected right here, coming back to test that support as resistance one more time. You have another low that is set here before you get rejected for the very last time, right? And then what you end up having is a structure like this here, the same structure that we drew for the Vechain price at the very beginning. Obviously, I didn't complete this one, but let me go ahead and complete it. And you can see the same structure. Let me go back to the Vechain price set actually. And you can see the structure that we drew at the very beginning is matching with that one we also have on the quant price set here. So this is a very common bottoming structure that we see across markets here. But what if we actually try to find the same thing on the Bitcoin price set? We can actually see the same thing happening here. Take a look at this. Price has been going to the downside. You initially find your support here. Before you break below that support, come back to that support now, testing it as resistance. You eventually get your rejection here, back to the upside one more time, and then you go ahead to set your new low before you eventually let loose of the price set, right? So here is the structure one more time. This one is looking a little bit exaggerated, obviously, but the basic structure that we want is the same thing that we have here on the Vechain price set as well. I also want you to pay attention to these 5 waves that we have at the very end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the downside, and then it marks your low. The next thing that happens is you have continuation to the upside, starting your new bull cycle. So this is basically the same thing that we have on the Vechain price chart. But the big question obviously would be, yeah, we have seen the structure. It looks really, really good. But what are the price targets that we are looking forward to right here? So I'm going to go ahead and use my view retracement tool to go ahead and make some comparisons right here. So let's go ahead and start with the Cardano price chart, having the same structure here from the very top. You can actually see that here we have something like what? Let's go here from the very top to the very bottom. The Cardano price had managed to do something like a 2.618 Fib retracement level. That's amazing. Let's take a look at the Ethereum price right with the same structure from the very top there to the very bottom. Let's go ahead and do that. This was the bottom here. Another 2.618, actually stretching a little bit closer to the 3.618. That was amazing here. Let's take a look at the quant price set with the same structure one more time. Let's go here, grab our Fib retracement tool from the very top to the very bottom of our structure here. You can see that the quant price managed to pull off something like a 4.236 Fib retracement level before eventually it started a new cycle. So this is amazing. The quant price did something that is really, really great here. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin price set. The last example that we took a look at. From the very top here to the very bottom, that will be something like another 4.236 Fib retracement level. This is amazing, but you can see that the price actually stopped a little bit here, the 3.618. So, I mean, these are really, really good price targets in my own opinion. If we would go back to the Vechain price and apply the same thing here from the very top to the very bottom of our structure, looking at what those outcomes were doing, the most common one was the 2.618. That will take the Vechain price to something like 71 cents. And from the very bottom that we said here all the way there will be something like a 46x, 47x thereabout. This is not really, really bad for a bull run in my own opinion. But if you would go ahead and extend all the way to the 4.236 retracement level from the very bottom right here, that will be something like, this is amazing really. That's something like a 77x. And I think this is, I mean, good opportunity high when it comes to profits. So this is my outlook on the Vechain price at the moment. And I think the structure that we have right here is set for a pop to the upside, and I think it's just a matter of patience at the moment. But I think gains are coming, at least 48x on the Vechain price. So this is amazing. Now, there are also situations in which this structure failed to go ahead and reach a new all-time high. So an example that I would give is the Tron price that you can see that, yeah, after exhibiting the structure here, when you take your Fib retracement to from the very top here to the very bottom, it just manages something like a 0.618 Fib retracement. So that's something that I keep at the back of my mind, that, you know what, maybe there is a possibility that we won't be able to reach a new all-time high and we'll be stuck, you know, in between one of these few adjustment levels. Right? But at the moment, the structure is showing more likely, more often than not, that we are going to set a new all-time high, even extend to something like the 4.236 triple adjustment level. And that will be amazing for the Vechain price. So that's pretty much it from me today. Obviously, none of what I say is financial advice, and you should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say. But if you like the content, don't forget to delicately tap the like button, share the video with your friends and family, subscribe to the channel, and see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.